professional record, 3 victories, 7 defeats, 1 draw, 1 lone win by way of knockout. El Hijo de Mexico, Omar Vasquez. His opponent in the blue corner, wearing the red trunks, white trim, also weighing in at 141 pounds. He is undefeated in 7 professional bouts, 6 wins coming by way of knockout. He hails from Brooklyn, New York. Here is Judh. 4 rounds, junior welterweight.
Okay, gentlemen, receive your fight. Check in.
He is still 4.5 months away from his 20th birthday. Already 7 pro fights, 7 wins, 6 by knockout. 110-5 as a 3-time New York Golden Gloves champion from Brooklyn, New York. An alternate of the 1996 Olympic team. And here he is already in his 8th professional fight. And just watch how closely he resembles Pernell Whitaker. As a kid, Judh admired Whitaker, was his idol. Now he's around him all the time in the Duva camp, learns from him, spars with him, has watched just about every tape of Pernell Whitaker, and faces Omar Vasquez, 23-year-old out of Mexico City. I guess it just would not be a Just for Starters without an Omar in it lately. We have seen so much of Omar Shika, the great-looking young fighter out of Paterson, New Jersey. Omar Vasquez, a very modest-looking record, 4 under the 500 mark at 3-7-1. But a guy who was fought too many good fighters early, was thrown in fights he should not have fought. Winless in his first 6, 0-5-1, but since that time he has come on and won 3 of his last 5 fights, starting to put it together. And a young fighter who's been stopped in 7 losses, only stopped 1 time.
Yeah, he's able to hang in there. He stopped in only his 2nd fight back in November of 1993. He describes himself in the ring, Omar Vasquez on your right. He says, I'm a tough, durable fighter. I'm a brawler. I'm aggressive. For Judh, he says, I'm a boxer-puncher like a Pernell Whitaker, and you see him fighting from that southpaw stance. His best punch, Judh says, is straight left, a.k.a. Pernell Whitaker. He loves that style, and he's got a great one to copy in Pernell Whitaker.
Look at the poise, Judh, 19 years old. Gets in and out, flashes the combinations.
Yeah, very skillful, very confident in the ring. He was 20-11, and he went 110-5 losses as an amateur. Like Pernell, he says, I have a good jab, good defense, and in the ring, I'm trying to have fun. I'm relaxed, I'm calm in the ring. I take my time, I pick my shots, and try to work off my opponent's opening.
That was one of the important instructions he received from Pernell Whitaker, to have fun in the ring. And when you're not having fun anymore, then it's time to get out.
You know, it's so hard to have fun, to relax and just go in there. So many fighters want to, especially in one of your early pro bouts, you want to go in there and you want to impress. You want to knock out your opponent. There's a good left hook from Vasquez. Vasquez promises to throw real straight right hands and wide left hooks. Those are punches that southpaw fighters are vulnerable to. Smothering shot, moving on the inside.
And that is the end of round number 1. We'll be moving into round number 2. Thought that Zab may be zapping his opponent early to make it a little easier on us tonight to get in all our rounds. 12 of those rounds coming up in a main event that will be featuring Austin, Texas's Jesus Chavez, who looks to defend his after escaping from Cuba. Former Cuban amateur star who has won 10 of his 11 professional fights. So all that is coming up after Judh and Omar Vasquez battle in this Just for Starters. And it's Zab with the jab. Working off of that, and there's a big right hook to the body of Omar Vasquez. The quick turns of Zab Judah. Lou Duva has a wonderful stable of fighters, and down through the years has been in the corner of many champions, and you can tell that he has somebody very special. Lou does bubble about all his fighters, but kind of bubbling over against this one in Zab Judah.
Well, he should.
And with Zab Judah and Fernando Vargas, he has two of the real young, exciting, up-and-coming, spirited fighters in the game today. Just 19, and Zab is taking his time. He does have 6 KOs in his 7 fights. Oh, the quick combination!
And he almost got one here. Fast punches like Purnell.
Turning the head of Omar Vasquez.
Oh, again, the 1-2 combination, basic boxing, a jab and a straight left. Pinpoint accuracy. Look at the focus on the face of Zab Judah. You can see it on his fists. Omar sees it on his nose. Omar Vasquez, now he just has to get busy. He's getting too much pressure from Judah. Judah in his face, and Judah knows what Vasquez brings to the dance. In this fight, he didn't know what to expect with Vasquez. He says, I'm going to feel him out in the first round, and then I'm going to adapt a bit. And he certainly did that. Except from the amateurs, I have learned many different styles.
Looks like Judah may be able to break Omar Vasquez in half. Omar, long and lean, 5'9½", 141 pounds. Same weight as Judah, but has about 3 inches in height. Judah backing up, just cool in there. Looking for what Vasquez has to offer and then countering. There he starts with a jab, comes back with 2 other shots. Oh, he plants that left. Smiling all the time, why not? Full control. Zab Judah, the Brooklyn, New York native, who has 7 brothers, all are in boxing.
Yeah, plenty of sparring partners for him with 7 brothers.
His father, Yoel, a 6-time kickboxing world champion.
Years by Parent Time for the most important job in the world.
In the spotlight, just for starters, Zab Judah, Zabdiel Judah. Zabdiel getting a gift to God. And Judah, warrior, a lion. And Zab trying to live up to his name. Certainly shown to be a warrior here in the first couple of rounds.
Been a warrior for some time. He got into boxing through his dad. His father, Yoel, was a 6-time kickboxing world champion. Followed his dad to the gym and started boxing. In his 110-5 record as an amateur, he beat Hector Camacho Jr. Stopped him from going to the Olympics. David Diaz, he beat, but then Diaz beat him back 2 other times.
Beat him in the box off.
Team member. Some of the speed, the maneuverability. Zab Judah.
And the crowd here, though, are not taking a liking to that playfulness.
No, they want to see a fight.
Southpaw stance. He knocked out his first 6 opponents. Then in his last fight, the beginning of May, stepped in against a fighter with 19 professional fights, Troy Crane. And Judah went the 6 rounds for that. So now he's basically stepping back 2 rounds to get the just for starters exposure. Halfway through round number 3. Judah stepping back in this round, just trying some moves.
Yeah, you know what? I thought he had Vasquez set up for the knockout at the last round. He really brought him to a position where Vasquez was accepting his punches. Vasquez had been hurt several times in that second. And now in this third, he steps back, perhaps to get some airtime.
Yeah, but Vasquez better watch out. He's getting very lazy with that jab. Judah's so explosive, looking to take advantage. See if he could do it here. Punches by Vasquez coming up very slowly. Miss there by Judh.
And Judh missing a lot of these shots. That's where somebody like Cornell is so good. He makes you miss your punches, so you're apprehensive about throwing them. You don't really throw them with authority. And then he tags you. Some lazy punches from Vasquez. Vasquez is slow.
And Judh is fast.
Like that. Junior, watch your legs. Speed is power.
Final 10 seconds. Omar Vasquez, though, about to take the heavy favorite into the final round. From the champ, welcome. Tuesday night fights, just for starters, heading into round number 4. But not so quickly, says Robert Chaffer, the referee. Some work to be done. Ronnie Shields in the corner of Zab Judh. Yes, both gloves are on, and we are ready to go for round number 4.
Yeah, tape comes off as you get to sweating in these fights, and it is extremely humid here. So both fighters sweating profusely, as we are.
You'll see a lot of these stoppages throughout the course of this evening.
Yeah, there's some of the speed. Judh.
One thing we don't have to worry about is fighters getting into these fights working up a sweat early.
Yeah, they'll come in the ring working up a sweat.
This is one night in which actually the crowd is also working up the sweat.
The crowd out-sweating the fighters. Out-sweating, is that a word?
It is now. The Champs Dictionary. We're in the Travis County Exposition Center in Austin. This is the home, and I'm saying this now just to try to cool us off, of the Austin Ice Bats, minor league hockey team. I'm just trying to envision the ice laid out here on the
Wouldn't that be nice?
on the surface right now.
The one time we would like to be on top of the ice.
That's probably the best, most effective punch Vasquez got in, a fall-away left-hander. A la Karl Malone, fadeaway shot for Vasquez. Halfway through this round number 4, Zab Judh, who started in a flurry, really gave an exhibition over the first couple of rounds, and now settling down.
Yeah, the real danger for him is allowing this to become banal. He can't let that happen. Judh has to carry the action. And that means, especially when the crowd is silent like this, he really has to explode. He has to bring the crowd into this fight and bring it to another level. That's up to him to do. You're not going to get that from Vasquez, unless, by chance, one of those wild swinging hooks that Vasquez throws lands.
Well, that may be something Sweet Pea tells Zab after this fight. In and out.
Yeah, Judh loves the artistry of this sport. Hit and not get hit. But when you use that artistry, you have to sometimes bring forth the action, too.
Well, Sweet Pea Whitaker also does have some detractors for some of the showtime in the ring. And there may be those detractors who say, well, you know, Zab Judh here in the last round does show some shades of the Sweet Pea Whitaker they would rather not see, where he's so skilled and so adept at what he's able to do in the ring that he just gets in and out. And
like many of those Sweet Pea fights, this is really a ball game. One man pitching, the other man catching.
Exactly. And that is the end of the Just for Starters. 4 rounds down. Zab Judh on his way to number 8 in a row, and we will get the final decision. And also Valdez Lermer coming up, and the main event, Jesus Chavez and Johnny Brown. As we were saying, it is a hot night in Texas. Here on the Tuesday Night Fights, we are in the capital city of Austin, and we are ready for a decision. Here is Mark Bito.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a unanimous decision. Judge George Garland scores it 39-36. Judge Gail Van Oy scores it 40-36. And Judge Lawrence Cole scores it 40-36. All to the winner, Judh.
Judh, with his Just for Starters debut, starts hot and then coasts to his 8th straight victory. Judh, a name you'll be hearing about in the boxing world.
I finally woke up because I didn't feel nothing. That was embarrassing. If there's a such thing as a bad win, that was it.
Villarreal will pressure him.